P flew 1,000 miles to visit a girl and saw her with another guy. Here's the full story. I've been friends with this girl a year. We started flirting and chatting a lot more a few months ago, so I decided to fly over here to visit her and see if we're compatible in real life. We are 1,000 miles apart, which is a few hours in a plane. I thought we both genuinely really like each other, which is why I came. I wouldn't fly this distance for just anyone, and she told me she wanted me to come. I arrived 3 days ago, and at the actual airport she tells me another guy has also come to see her, even though she didn't want him to. He's also from another country and flew roughly the same distance to get here. I was confused, cause I don't understand why he flew here if she told him she didn't want him to. Like, no guy is that stupid as to get on a plane for some random girl. She said it's because he just wanted to travel and picked her country. So I've been staying at her house, and this other guy got a hotel, so the first day we drove him to his hotel and it was just so awkward. You could tell neither of us wanted to be there anymore, and you can definitely tell we had no idea the other existed. That night we went out for drinks and he came along, despite telling me she didn't want him there. I'm only here for a week, and for the past 2 days the three of us have spent the days together, and it's so effing awkward. I really like this girl and I want alone time with her. So today I told her I don't want to see him again, that this trip was meant to be for just us, and I'm feeling very awkward having another guy around, who obviously wants to get in her pants. It's frustrating. She told me we're not exclusive, they're just friends like us, and she doesn't want to leave him alone all day. She specifically said her and I are just friends, so I can't get angry. She left me alone in her own house and went to his hotel for a few hours and came back literally half an hour ago. I don't know what they did. They could have had sex for all I know, saying now we could go out for dinner and drinks, just us. She had no problem telling me she stayed at his hotel and hang out with him there playing on her Switch. So clearly she 100% believes we're not exclusive and told me to chill the F out, or she couldn't be with me because I'm too overbearing already. I'm not trying to be, but this is a crappy situation, and in my eyes we were being flirty AF, and I didn't know there was another guy coming. Like, why couldn't she just pick another week for him to come? Am I seriously the idiot in this situation? You are being so played and manipulated. You're basically adhered to this girl's finger. This can't be real. No human person, no matter how much they liked another human person, would actively stay in a situation that screams The Bachelorette in real life. Obligatory, not the idiot, clearly. If she's been telling you this whole time she just sees you as a friend she wants to hang out with, and you've been outwardly agreeing with her even though in your head you've decided this is leading up to a relationship, then yeah, you're being an idiot for acting like you're in a relationship. If she agreed that this is meant to test the waters for a relationship only to spring another guy on you, yeah, then she's the problem here. From what you've actually told us, it's pretty hard to tell if she's playing a mean game, or if two guys she legit thought were her friends are now suddenly overstepping her boundaries in an attempt to get a relationship, and she's panicking and handling it poorly because she doesn't want to date either of you, but feels guilty you spent time, money coming to see her, and so is badly trying to avoid disappointing either of you as well. You are a fool if you stick around. This is the epitome of manipulation, and she is good enough at it to make two suckers for the price of one. Get a hotel, see the sights, and consider this a hard lesson learned. Not the idiot. She is the idiot, and the fact that they're not exclusive is actually irrelevant. Why? Because you don't do this to friends, let alone potential dating partners. You don't just spring a random add-on when the other party is expecting just one-on-one. It's an often unwelcome surprise to the visitor, and it's rude. It's only okay when the visitor agrees to it ahead of time. The rest of the week was pretty much the three of us again, except for one other night where we were alone. So essentially in a week we only had 2 nights out together. I slept in her house, so we spent nights alone anyway. But I mean going out alone without third wheel. I decided to do what a lot of you were suggesting, and I confronted the other guy about what the F was going on. I guess something didn't feel right, and my gut was telling me I should probably talk to him because I felt she was lying. So I went out on a walk to the shops and ended up at the guy's hotel and room. Straight up asked him what's going on. It was incredibly awkward, but we ended up having a good conversation about her, and he basically was told the same as I was. Except she lied and said I purposely told her I couldn't afford a room and she had to offer me her place. This isn't true. She offered me her place from the get-go, and I never insinuated I wouldn't get a hotel room. She told him she liked him, was incredibly flirtatious with him too, and they actually took it much farther than we did. They had a lot of love making on phone. He had her bare photos, he didn't show me out of respect for her, and they cammed a lot more than she did with me. I felt heartbroken, still do, but I'm feeling better. On this trip alone they actually made love when she was at his room. He confirmed it with a text she sent him when she left to go out with me. He does really like her. I'm not sure if she likes him back, but she did sleep with him, so maybe. She never did strike me as that type of person, yet here we are. I told him he could have her. So yeah, in essence, she lied a lot. She told me she really liked me, told him she doesn't like me at all, was incredibly flirty with both of us and leading us both on. She told him she didn't want me at her house, yet totally invited me to stay there. She told me she didn't like him, he's just a friend visiting. But then turns out she's had a sexual relationship with him for months, and they even slept together while I was also there. It's crap. This is the fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me thing. You were tricked, that doesn't make you stupid. If you were to continue trying to win over this girl, well, then you'd be stupid. But take it easy on yourself. This was just one expensive and embarrassing lesson learned. Now you're a better and smarter person going forward. Mother wants to meet me after 8 years. I don't know what to do. Here's the full story. English is not my first language, so please bear with me. So she was dating my father when he got her pregnant and left her after she told him she is pregnant. I don't remember much, but my grandparents raised me. She would visit once a week. She would take me to shopping, get me chocolates, etc. Grandparents died when I was 6, so my mom take me in. She was married. I never knew she's married and had a baby, but I didn't think too much about it. Growing up I was neglected. All her love and care was for my half-sisters. Her husband abused me emotionally and physically. He would yell at me for little mistakes like if slip some water, wake up late, and my mother was a bystander and sometimes participate. She always tells me about how my father left her when she needed him most, how I almost ruined her life. This all in front of her husband, and lastly he would kiss her and tell me how he saved her. Well, I was just at 12 at that time. I get hurt and jealous every day by seeing how they treats their daughters with love and affection. I never expected her husband to be my father, but she is my mother. How could she be so cruel to me, her own child? She always guilt-tripped me by saying she's the one who's feeding me and is giving me a shelter to live. I was bright student in school and still I am. But she never got happy for my progress. I thought if I study hard she will love me cause I loved her very dearly. But I realized too late, no matter what I do she will always show me where I stand. So when I was 16 I got in touch with one of my father's sister through my mother's childhood friend. She knew how my mom treats me and she wanted to help me, I guess. We hang out more and she finally asked me how I was living with my mom. I just broke down and tell her everything. She said she knew and that's why she wants to help me and asked me if wants to live with her. And I said yes. 1 month passed and I was ready to move in with her. So I got home. She was in kitchen. I asked her to come upstairs when she's done. She came late, and conversation goes like this. She, what do you want now? Me, can I ask you something, mom? She, what? Me, do you love me? She, of course. Me, then why don't you stop your husband when he abused me? She, that's me. Let me finish, mom. You hate me, don't you? That's why you let him abuse me for years. You never showed me any affection, but you love your daughters. You attend their parents' meeting, but you never showed up at my school. You even send me to another school. That's how you love me. Just why you never loved me. Did or do something wrong? Tell me. She, how could I hate you? You're my son. Me, then why did you hurt me so much? I can't show you how much it's hurt whenever you choose your husband over me. It's feel like my heart will stop beating every single time you chose to hurt me. But I loved you. I tell myself that one day you will love me, but it was my fantasy which come to an end. She, he cares for you. I interrupt. Me, look, you are choosing him again. Mom, I always choose to love you even though I always get hurt by you in return. But this time I choose to not to get hurt anymore. I know you don't give a damn about me. That's why I'm moving in with my aunt. She knows her, and I expect you to at least respect my decision and let me go to live my life. She was just standing, didn't say a word after I tell her I'm moving with my aunt. Next day I move out when my mother and her husband was at work. I didn't say bye to my half-sisters. We moved to another state and I cut off my mom and her entire family. That was 8 years ago. I never heard anything from them in this 8 years. I still live with my aunt, her husband and her daughter. They are nice and kind people. Also now I have job and I'm on the way to becoming a software engineer, so I can say I'm doing good. But yesterday I get voicemail from my mother, said she wants to meet me and to please talk to me and was crying. I haven't responded yet. Should I call her or should I just block her? I can't decide. I have this bad feeling that she's trying to get in touch because she found out you're about to be a software engineer. She probably wants money. It's up to you if you want to talk to her, but don't start giving her money. She wants something from you, and it's not a chance to get reacquainted. If you can handle it, by that I mean a ton of tears from her, some begging, a whole lot of how she's been wronged in some way, and finally she tells you that she needs you. You might feel some obligation to call her because she is your mother after all. Don't call for that reason. She barely meets the requirements for the mother moniker. She did the barest minimum. I might call out of curiosity alone. But you don't call her. You don't owe her a thing, and she's had no use for you your entire life. You have a real mom now, a real dad. You seem like a nice young guy who got dealt a rotten hand but not only survived but given a chance you thrived. The fact that you're even asked this question tells me you do feel some obligation, some love. And I got a feeling if you call you will fall for at least some of her bull, and she'll hook you. Here's what I would do: write her a short letter telling her you got her message, that you wish her the best, but that not only do you not want to call her, but that you don't want any relationship with her or the rest of her family. Then it all, sign it, mail it, and get on with your life, and hope like hell you will never hear from any of them again. But I have a bad feeling about that. She probably needs money, or maybe her hubby left her. If I were you, I would stay away from her. It's been 8 years. A mother who cared her child wouldn't wait even 8 hours to reach out. She really doesn't deserve to see you, and you don't owe her anything. I would block her. It will just be drama you do not need. She made her choices, you make yours. Maybe talk to your aunt, she may have some info for you to help you decide. I am glad your aunt gave you a nice place to live and wish you the best. My wife is pregnant with our 4th baby in 4 years and I'm worried about her. Here's the full story. My wife, 29 female, is a lovely, smart woman. Honestly, the best wife any man could ask for. And she's an extremely devout Catholic. We're both Catholic, but she's much more devout and pious than I could ever hope to be. And she absolutely will never use birth control of any kind, including NFP. And she made this clear before we got married. She became pregnant very quickly after our wedding. We got married almost 4 years ago, then had another baby about 11.5 months after the first, and then 2 more at basically that same rate, pregnant with number 4 now. We always abstain for 2 months after she gives birth, then we start making love again and she gets pregnant in less than a month. It's like clockwork. I make sure she's ready and wants to make love and feels ready to possibly become pregnant again before asking her to make love and initiating intercourse. I definitely don't want to give the impression that I'm doing this when she doesn't want to. That's definitely not the case. Her doctors have told her to space her pregnancies more. She completely rejects this as nonsense because she says she feels fine, and because her mother had 11 children with no problem, and she has 5 sisters who have a ton of children as well without problem. She wants more than anything to be stay-at-home mom and homeschool a bunch of little Catholics. She's a former school teacher, so she is educated, and while we'll never be rich, we can definitely support many children. But my concern is that physically this will somehow catch up with her. I have this neurotic fear that getting pregnant this frequently, every year with no signs of this slowing down, will somehow seriously harm or kill my wife. God forbid. I hate even putting that fear into words. And then I'll be responsible for this. My wife is everything to me, so this is really troubling me. And I've often lain awake at night after having possibly gotten her pregnant worrying about this. Do most mothers who have children in this way, fatties nearly every year, turn out fine, or is this really a stupid, dangerous thing to do? The Catholic position is definitely very for NFP, so if she's not willing to do even that, then her view towards birth control is not necessarily the Catholic view, but her own view, or that of her family's. It has nothing to do with the church, and it sounds like you need to look more into what your religion says about birth control and lead more in your marriage this way. And yes, having that many pregnancies and births spaced that close together is definitely not as healthy and will take a greater toll on her body. Is she breastfeeding? So in the past, another reason why people didn't have as many babies as we think, though they did have a lot, was that children weren't weaned until their toddler years, and this was a little bit of protection against getting pregnant right away. The upper classes had wet nurses partly for the purpose of the wives being able to get pregnant again as soon as possible, since breastfeeding has a bit of birth control effect. It's not just her health but that of your babies. Without time to heal and rebuild her nutritional stores, her body will find it harder to grow healthy babies. The WHO, World Health Organization, recommends spacing babies out for both the benefit of them and their mother. The fact is, having that many babies so closely spaced together is very taxing on the body. It's actually not totally unreasonable to be thinking about worst-case scenarios, as with more pregnancies come more complications. It's worth bringing up those fears with your spouse, if for no other reason than to have open communication with each other. After this pregnancy has completed, maybe talk to your wife and see where she's at both mentally and physically. I find it disturbing that your wife is willing to dismiss the doctors so easily. I think you two need to seek counsel with your priest. I also think she may need personal counseling. Your wife may need help outside of simply not having kids. And, quite honestly, abstinence is never a sin and it takes two to make a baby. Whether she wants to participate in NFP or not, you always have the choice to abstain from making love with her for more than 2 months postpartum. You can also be aware of when she has her periods, and with a basic knowledge of cycles, the week immediately after and the week immediately before a period are the most safe times. This, however, feels like hiding something from her, and I don't feel completely comfortable recommending this. Thank you so much.